Well, hello, lovely, beautiful ladies today.
Hello, Smudgy.
Oh, it's
Hello,
racist.
Poppet.
Again, we start off. We started
hello,
off
Poppet.
as we mean to go on. Oh my God, we've gone Mary Poppins now, have we?
That's right.
Jesus Christ. We start singing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Walking.
All right, enough. So, guys, let's just dive right in because we have a pretty cool episode today. This is a different one for us. So,
It is.
we are going to be speaking to 3 other women who found their way into the audio erotica community and then into the profession, just like we did. We met on Quinn, we started a podcast, and we thought, who else has been diving into creative outlets as a result of this? And we got them.
But we were talking about doing this months and months ago.
Yes.
But we wanted to find our own feet first, didn't we? I think.
Yeah.
Before we found the feet of others. And the pool that we went fishing in was mahoosive.
Yeah, I'm really excited to speak to them, especially to hear about, when they, during this journey of theirs, they had that I can do this type moment
Yeah.
when they realized they wanted to be part of the space in a professional manner. I think that's what I'm really excited to hear from each of the women on the pod today.
Me too. So we've got 2 script writers,
Mhm.
a voice actor. One of the script writers is a novelist. So we've got some pretty cool women to talk to. Shall we learn a little bit more about our guests?
Oh, yes, please.
So we have Deena. Deena Hendricks is a born storyteller. She broke onto the Quinn scene this year, working with VAs like James Joseph, Shane East, and AJ. And in September, becomes a debut novelist with the release of her dark rock star romance, Euclid.
Woohoo. All right, next up we have Kaychase. Kay is a shy, Midwest, art history loving, book reading good girl who fell face first into the world of smut. Slightly toxic M-Dom is her meal of choice, always served with a side of sarcasm. You can find her scripts on Quinn, UCA, and Magic Wave.
Like the slightly toxic M-Dom being her meal of choice. Serve me up a 3-course meal, please. Thank you. And finally, we have Jessie. Jessie is a writer and actor with work on Undercover's Audio, Quinn, and Reddit. She's a big fan of fantasy and horror, and when she's not writing smut, she's nerding out about practical SFX, finding a new hobby to hyper-focus on, or off on a solo adventure with her dog.
Sounds like an interesting trio.
Isn't it
So
just?
excited to chat with them.
Shall we get them in the studio?
Let's welcome them in.
Welcome
All
to the
right.
QuinnCast studio, Deena, Kay, and Jessie.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Super excited to have you guys here. And for me, I just want to kick off with like a timeline check-in, if that's cool. So how long has each of you been doing work in the audio erotica field?
Oh god. 6 months for me.
6 months for Deena?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to do maths. Hang on, I didn't expect to have to count today.
Sorry, we should
Get your
take
shoes
a
and socks
calculator.
off.
I started in January.
9
Nice.
months.
9 months and you gave birth to an erotica baby.
Fucking hell.
It was significantly less painful than I imagine a real baby is.
But has your vagina took more of a pounding?
I couldn't possibly tell you that.
Well, I would really like to know what your gateway audio was, kind of to make you go, wait a second, audio erotica is a thing?
Oh, yeah, we'll do a round robin on that. Deena, you're first.
Do you want the first one I ever listened to, or the one where I was just like, oh no, this has blown my whole fucking life apart?
That
Oh,
one.
the one that blew that one, yeah.
Yeah, that blew your whole fucking life apart.
It's Snaudio's countdown quickie. I will go back to that at least once a week.
Love it.
That
Kay
ended.
Chase, what you got for us? What's your gateway?
My gateway drug was AJ's Drawn Closer.
Oh,
Was
really?
it?
That started
Interesting.
everything for me. It introduced me to all the audio erotica platforms and Quinn and everything. That was it.
That was the one.
Wow. That was the one
Cool.
with the, was it with the, he played the pompous art
He
teacher,
played
didn't he, or something?
Dickhead Professor, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
dickhead professor. See, I said pompous art teacher. You went dickhead professor.
Yeah.
What about you,
What
Jessie?
about you, Jessie?
Quinn was not like my first experience with audio erotica. I used to listen to like I think everyone's heard of like literotica, right?
Yes.
And you would think that would be like written stuff, but there's some audio stuff on there as well. And I think this might not be gospel, so don't quote me on it, but I think some of the OG Quinn creators and like some of our like faves started off doing some bits on there as well. But the first Quinn audio that I ever listened to was Andrew Scott's. That was the thing that brought me to Quinn. And then after that, because I was like, I need more Irish people, it was Irish Hospitality. It was Devil of Dublin's Irish Hospitality. That was the first like non-Quinn original that I listened to. And then I found Cavan Kingston, and then I was stuck then forever. So
Yeah. That would do it.
Wow. Yeah.
You would do it.
Cavern was my gateway drug, as you say. I heard him once on Quinn, and that was it. I was sold forever.
Yeah, I'm the same as Jessie. Mine was Andrew Scott, and then it was, I don't know, some growly guy. Don't know who that is.
Might have heard of him.
They're few and far between.
Yes, they are.
Could that be? So when was the kind of that moment then when there was a moment that flipped a switch in you that you went, I want to be a part of this?
For me, I had joined AJ's Discord, and a couple months in, he put out his like email for script submissions, and I hadn't thought about writing. I've never written anything besides, essays in college, and I have no background in journalism or English or anything like that. And but my first job was in a bookstore, and so love to read. And I saw the email that he sent out, and I was like, what the hell? Why the hell not? So I did. I wrote Use Your Words. That was my first ever script that I ever wrote.
And it's actually absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's doing really well. That's my baby, and I've been waiting for that fucking thing to come out since January.
And the waits are agony. They are agony.
They are. It's hurry up and wait.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, for like your first script to be like that amazing and that well received. I mean, clearly it's
I was shocked.
Favorable.
I was shocked I heard back from him, because he doesn't, he's a busy guy. He doesn't reach back if it's like a no, which is fine. And I heard back, and that definitely gave me the confidence to go forward. And sweet Jessie here gave it a little read over. I put in the Discord, I'm like, does anybody want to read? I'm just messing around. Does anybody want to read this and see if I'm even on the right track? And so Jessie was like, me. So I messaged her and sent her what I had going. And I think she told me it was bloody brilliant at one point.
So British.
So, yeah, she gave me the confidence to submit.
And correct.
And AJ gave me the confidence to keep going. So
wow, that's pretty incredible.
What about you, Deena?
So getting started with, like, it's a little bit of a story, I guess, and it coincided with book writing as well, like completely. I'm not just shoehorning it in like it really did. So essentially, I started with like just really getting into dark romance books. So I discovered Sadie Kincaid and loved her mafia books. Still love her mafia books. A couple of years ago, and I'd started doing creative writing exercises because in my day job I was working with I would suggest the nightmarest of clients, and I needed to do something to decompress. So I would like take myself off for walks, go find a little spot, and go write short stories. And I was like, I know Sadie Kincaid now. I'm gonna make them hot. And I just like I've always been good at writing. I started out in journalism at first, but like was always good at creative writing as well. So I just wanted to stretch that muscle again. And I ended up writing 5 short stories. 4 of them ended up becoming Quinn scripts, but at the time I did not know what Quinn was. And the way that I found out what Quinn was my best friend, who is, to all intents and purposes, living in my brain and completely psychic. We were going out to dinner in a Piccadilly Circus in London, and she sat me down and she was like, bitch, connect your earphones to my phone. I have to show you this app. And she played me your husband seems nice by, I think, Nordio,
Okay.
yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay, so I am obsessed now. And I'm like 5 minutes later, like eating a steak, getting railed by an audio. And then And then I carried on listening. And I was like, oh, I think I might be able to do this. Like, I understand how to make things travel in a script. I can work up a storyline. I've got 5 storylines written there. Like, the 5th one ended up being the basis of my book. So that all just happened at the same time. So yeah, after a few dead ends, like a year later, Book Talk Girl came out on Quinn. And that was the beginning of all this.
Wow. Well done.
Jessie, what's your story?
So mine was kind of a bit of a weird way in, I suppose, because I was doing some stuff. I went back to university during COVID to get my master's degree, and I did screenwriting. So when I was doing that degree, I'd written a TV series that my friend and I had a little production company, and we were trying to get the pilot of that TV series made. But we came to the conclusion really early on that it was just going to be way too expensive for like 2 people in the ass end of nowhere to afford to make. So I was like, I'm just going to convert this into like an audio drama, and we'll just do it as like a podcast type thing. So I was doing that, and I was kind of posting a little bit about it on TikTok and stuff. And then I'd been writing kind of little short film scripts and stuff. And it was around May, I think, that whenever Andrew Scott was on Quinn, that's when I found out about Quinn. And I saw that they were looking for like you could send them scripts and stuff, and I was like, I could do that. I could write something filthy. So I did and sent it in to Quinn and didn't hear anything. But I'd been posting about it on TikTok about how I'd like was doing the script and I'd sent it off and like we'll see what happens. And then I jokingly made a TikTok that was like, maybe I'll apply to be a VA as well, because like what's sexier than like a really thick Cornish accent like in your ear, like, or get on my sweetheart, like what's sexier than that? A lot apparently. But from that, I got reached out to by the girls from UCA asking me if I'd actually consider doing it. And I kind of went, yeah, go on then. So I did, and that was like October last year. And I wouldn't do anything else if you paid me now. I love it.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. And UCA is Undercovers Audio, which we mentioned in the bio, but just so everyone knows what UCA is, it's another platform.
So, I mean, Kay, you said you wrote this script in January and you submitted it in January and you heard nothing. Did you write anything in between that? So when you've all written your first scripts or your, or whatever it is, and you have to wait for so long, do you do stuff in between? Do you just carry on and then you look back and you get better, obviously, with time, surely, from the first one you submit? So Kay, did you look back at your first one and go, oh, yeah, I mean, it was my baby, but I've done better ones now since? How does that work?
Oh, totally. There's no rule book for this. So when it came to like formatting a script or, how to represent sound effects versus tone of voice versus text, I had no idea what I was doing. I Googled a little bit to try to find, VA script formats, and you get a bunch of different ones. So yeah, after I sold that one to AJ, I wrote, I think 3 or 4 more. And I just kind of sat on them. And then I would always go back to use your words and look. And as I kept going, I would get a little better. I would be like, oh, this definitely flows a little bit better when I do it this way, or I would use a different font. Like I was using the like scriptwriter font at first, like the old school stuff. And I'm like, I guess I don't really have to do it. It makes it look a little bit more professional, I think. But let's be honest, it's not the easiest to read. So yeah, I would go back and edit things all the time. I send my scripts in Google Docs so I can go in and edit them whenever I want before the VA actually performs them, which is a good tip that I learned along the way. Yeah.
Jessie, what about you?
I mean, script-wise, a lot of the stuff that I've done is just for me. So I write it maybe the week before I perform it. And then I've done it and then I move on to the next one. I mean, the ones that I've done that have been on Quinn, one of them I wrote, sent over, and it was picked up within 2 days and it was out by the Friday. So I sent it over on the Monday. So Science Friction, which is one of AJ's scripts, I sent over on the Sunday evening. he came back to me on the Tuesday and said, I'm going to do this for Friday. Is that okay? And I was like, I suppose.
Okay.
So that one was really quick, but the one that came out last week, I sent over in February. So
Wow.
it just varies. And like stuff I've done for other people, like not on Quinn, mostly has been either collabs, so me and somebody else, or I've done for like a bigger project that's gone through UCA. So we did one at Christmas that was like a kind of smutty retelling of a Christmas carol, called A Chris Smut Carol. And so I wrote the narrative portion of that and one of the audios, and then we had all the other script writers that work with UCA did a little bit. So that was all kind of came out within, like, we turned that around in like 2 weeks. So yeah, it just depends, but mostly because I'm writing stuff for me or people I'm working with, it's usually a pretty quick turnaround for me. Usually a week, couple of weeks, something like that.
And what's the kind of balance, Jessie? So would you say you do more voice work now than script writing, or is it 50-50?
I mean, yes. I've tried to, I kind of, when I first started, I was writing stuff that I was kind of comfortable with me performing initially, because I wasn't really like, I don't know, maybe confident with doing like certain tropes and stuff, and like stuff that I wouldn't write myself. So a lot of the stuff that I did early on was stuff that I wrote for me. Now, because I'm putting more stuff out on Reddit, I tend to, anything I put out on Reddit, I will find a script from someone and do it and do a script fill. Partly because it's like, it's a time thing more than anything else. Like, I have a full-time job, so as much as I would love to sit and write smut all day, I don't actually have time. And to be honest, there's so many incredible scriptwriters out there, and so many scriptwriters that have experiences that differ from mine, that I feel like I actually am learning things from doing scripts that have been written by other people and finding out stuff that maybe I didn't know about myself, or being able to kind of put myself in a scenario or a situation that I wouldn't be in real life. So it gives me the opportunity to kind of explore outside of my own experience. So I do enjoy working with scriptwriters in that sense, because it just means that I get to do things that I wouldn't necessarily write for myself.
Deena, your journey must have been slightly different.
Yeah, like it's not that different from Kay's or Jessie's, to be honest. I wrote Book Talk Girl. I had that for a while and came up against a few dead ends, and then got my break with James Joseph via a contact, which was really helpful. But while I was waiting for that, then I carried on writing the novel, but other ideas were coming to me in the meantime, and I sometimes needed to get away like from that very specific style of writing, and so I went and wrote other stuff. I think while I was waiting for that one to be placed, Play by My Rules, which was placed with Shane East in the end, came along, and Follow Your Dreams, which was AJ script. But yeah, so they came along like pretty early as well, and then I just sort of went from there while I finished this goddamn novel. So yeah, it's not that different. You just have to keep writing. You have to keep stretching that muscle. You have to keep like catching the inspiration as it comes. And yeah, the only way to become a better writer in anything is just to keep going. So yeah, it would have been bad if I'd have just stopped at that one.
Thinking about kind of us talking about the scripts that you're writing, which by the way, I've listened to all of them. They're amazing. And this is just to me such a kind of niche kind of profession to just come out of nowhere. At least for me, if you told me 10 months ago, I would talk and think about audio erotica every single day, I would have told you you're crazy. So I'm curious, before you got into this profession, did you see yourself as a sexual being or creative? And kind of once you got into the space, did your mind shift change on that a little bit?
No. I had no idea what audio erotica was around November of last year. I knew there was like, romance books and audiobooks and things like that, but I didn't know there were platforms that focused on mostly women's pleasure in like 15-minute increments. I had no idea it was a thing. So no, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and if you had told me this is what I was going to be doing, I would have said you're crazy. I'm not the most sexual person, but since discovering Quinn and diving into other platforms and writing, I'm definitely more comfortable in my skin as a woman and as a mom and a wife. So it's definitely helped me personally, and I'm way more open to the way that other people live their life and love who you love, and just kind of it's so much more than just getting off.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm
so
joking.
much. Well, I mean, that's a big perk.
Joking.
But yeah, it's so much more.
Yeah,
Have your
so much.
conversations with your husband changed as far as like intimacy and relationship goes?
Maybe a little bit. I'm probably maybe a little bit more vocal. I definitely wrote "use your words," I think subconsciously from a little space in my own head.
Yep.
I'm a very shy and timid person, and so I don't always use my words. But it's definitely helped a little bit. I wrote my first script and sold it, and I didn't even tell my husband what I was doing. And so after I wrote it and told him somebody bought it, he was like, "Oh, okay, what is this?" So I let him read it, and he was like, "Oh," like I think he was shocked those words and those ideas came out of my mind.
And then very happy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it worked out for everybody.
Yeah.
What about you, Jessie?
I've never kind of seen myself as a particularly sexy person. I'm just a bit goofy, I don't know. But I think the thing that probably I've got most out of doing this job is that, like, actually the things that I don't necessarily find sexy about myself, or like things that I find weird about myself, or I think other people don't like, are actually the things that people do like. And it's the weird bits of me that I wasn't comfortable with. And like, I have ADHD, and I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was like 32. So for my whole childhood, I just thought I was weird. And it was one of those things I just kind of accepted about myself, that I was just a weirdo, and like, it's fine, I'm just weird. Because I couldn't relate to other people in the same way that everyone around me seemed to be able to. So I think when you're a kid, you take that on as like a character flaw. And it's something that you become self-conscious about. And I think from doing this job, I've actually kind of made peace with the fact that actually the quirky bits of me and the things that make me weird are also the things that give me a very unique perspective on what is sexy and what I find, like, to me, the sexiest things in an audio is like humor. Like I think sex needs to be like far less serious.
Yes.
And like it just and being able to do this job and being able to explore those different things that I find sexy and things that I find attractive has actually made me go, oh, it's actually fine that I find this thing attractive, or that this thing about me exists, because somebody out there likes it, you know.
Do you write, people say that writers write better when they write about what they know. Have you written sort of ADHD stuff within your scripts?
Not purposefully, but they're probably in there by accident. Yeah, I think for me, probably the thing that whenever I put anything into an audio, I think, like, numerous people have said this to me, so I guess it's a thing that I'm doing inadvertently. People will read my scripts or hear an audio that I've written and go, I can tell you wrote that because it sounds like you. And I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I think there's like maybe a certain way that I write, or a certain way that I like put dialogue into scenes or humor into scenes, that people will listen to it or read it and go, oh, you wrote that because that sounds like you. So yeah, maybe that accidentally, but I don't do it on purpose.
I think that's ultimately a compliment, because if you think about anything that you find that you like, whether it's an actor or an author or whatever, you will default and grab their work just by seeing who's in it and who wrote it. So I would say that if people recognize your scripts, the tone, the style, the cadence is very much you, then I mean, that's your mark, right? That's your mark you're making on it. It's like when...
As long as people aren't avoiding it for that reason, that's fine.
Oh.
As long as they don't hear it and go, not that one. I know who wrote that.
Not be their thing. That's okay.
Yeah. Straight in the bin. No, thank you.
Jessie, it's funny because I do remember when Science Friction came out, and before I even saw your name, I remember thinking Jessie's gonna love this pun. Like, that was my first thing I thought, and then we saw it was by you. I was like, yes.
Oopsie. Have I got a reputation? Oh no.
That's good. So, Deena, for you, how kind of in touch with your sexuality were you before finding audio erotica?
I have not had the least exciting life. So I've spent most of my 20s in burlesque. So obviously quite quite overtly sexual, and not shying away from a spotlight at all. But I think it's interesting what actually both my fellow writers /VA are saying, because so where Jessie's concerned, so what you said, Jess, was that you kind of are like goofy, and that you're bringing out parts of you that like aren't necessarily like, they're not talked about that widely as being sexy, but they just are. And that is exactly why I would specialize in comedy acts in burlesque. And also, interestingly, because Jessie will know exactly who I'm talking about, my best-selling act was to the Combine Harvester song by the Wurzels, which are a very...
I got a brand new Combine Harvester. I'll show you the keys.
Amazing.
Yeah. So there's me, like bra full of straw that's coming off, and we're just hiding behind the big hat. And there's, instead of champagne pour, a scrumpy pour at the end. That was my best-selling act. I danced for Burberry doing that act.
Wow.
It was funny.
The Americans on this podcast are looking at us going, what the fuck are they talking about?
No idea.
I would suggest...
I caught Burberry.
Me too.
Yeah.
Burberry.
What's the best likeness? Would we say it's beyond country, I would say.
Oh,
maybe
God.
a bit rednecky, like
okay.
a parody type thing. But there's a band called the Wurzels. They, until he died of COVID, had the oldest drummer in the world. He was 84.
Wow.
And they would just crack on around the festival scene, doing their gigs and everything. And I danced to one of their songs about a combine harvester. So that was my best-selling act, but it was funny, and I felt the sexiest when I was funny. And it's really hard for me not to put jokes in my scripts. Like, I made two Oasis jokes in The Boy in the Band, which is with James Joseph. 2 of them. Like, what is wrong with me? But that is where I find myself being like at my sexiest, I guess, and feeling my best. So like humor is a big part of that, and I was overtly sexual before I came along and found this. But what was interesting about what Kay said about like as a shyer person, like using her words and the usual word script with AJ, and like kind of coming to the fore a little bit more in yourself with that, is that despite having that very much side career, there's no money in cabaret, like despite having all of that and not kind of shying away from it, I realized when I found Quinn that I had that whole time, in at least some way, been really, I'd given in to the male gaze instead of the female. And the more I listened and the more obsessed I became with audio erotica, and then the more that I started realizing that I thought I could write this, the more upset with myself I became, I think, because what I've realized happened is that, so I'm 36 now, and I've realized I spent all of my 20s being performative, not just on a stage, but in every single way. And then what I realized was that I had very little sex where I actually had enjoyed it and had been doing it for me. And that's a problem. That is a problem for the quality of the experience you're having and how you think about yourself. And I'd always been affected by like things that weren't feminist, I guess, right, is the very broad term to use it in, and by societal norms. And I knew that stuff wasn't correct, but I didn't realize how much it had taken me in. And now that I've realized everything, I've, 1, changed my sex life entirely, and 2, set boundaries for myself about how much I talk about what I want as well as what my partner wants. And then the third thing that came from that is that, okay, I'm going to speak to other women like me who are just at that awakening, or like aren't quite there yet, or who haven't quite found their voice in what they want yet. And that's sort of the only like guiding light I have with my scripts at the moment. I know that I quite like putting humor in there, I know that I am quite an overtly sexual person. I've had a side career in that. But when it came down to really reflecting on me and my fellow women or female identifying people, like I know that for a lot of people, there's a big realization here and a thing that's changing. And I'm so glad that like we're coming along with that more, but there's work to do. And I want people to have the same revelations and realizations that I did, because I can't believe how many years I wasted not enjoying myself, but pretending I was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's a narrative for,
Powerful.
if I lined up 100 of my female friends, 98 would say exactly the same thing, that it was perfunctory and something that we didn't stand up for our own sexual enjoyment rights.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
But
yeah.
I love that you're using your writing, Deena, to like help others in
Brilliant.
that same way, to like discover themselves and explore themselves and express themselves more.
Trying.
That's pretty cool motivation behind the writing.
Oh yeah. And I say keep the humor coming, because I have talked to so many women that truly the humor part of it, it makes it so much more real, because you don't have an intimacy coordinator on set making sure everything's perfect, during real sex. Things get messy, things get weird and awkward and funny. And I really do. I think that brings it to life more. So keep it coming.
Definitely. Did any of you have any sort of fear or of judgment, whether it be in your personal circles or whether it be in the business itself? And if you did, how sort of did you navigate that?
I talk way too much about what I do. I talk about it in places that I should not, because I have no fucking filter. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I do this.
I'll have a McChicken sandwich, please. And can we talk about fisting?
And could you proofread this real quick? There's just a tiny bit of like butt plug. It's fine.
What about you, Kay or Jess?
I'm the exact opposite of Miss Deena over there. I am an anonymous writer, and I chose that just because, or I decided to do that, one, because I am a mom of 2 young kiddos. I didn't want there to be any judgment about me or like my parenting skills or how I am as a mother, because that's some of the first things that popped into my head. Like, okay, I wrote and sold my first script, fine. I made a little Instagram account for myself, fine. But the more and more that I'm doing this, and the more scripts that I'm selling, I want to keep my children and my family safe. I have wonderful people in my life. I don't think anything, of course, my brain goes to worst case scenario right off the bat. And I don't think anything like that would happen. But if it did, I would never forgive myself. So only my husband and my lovely smut community know what I do. My parents don't know, my friends don't know. And another reason I decided to keep it on the DL a little bit is because I wanted this to be something just for me. I didn't want to have to explain it to anybody who didn't understand. I didn't want to have to keep my mom updated on what I'm writing or what VAs I've reached out to. I wanted this to be mine. As a mom, you kind of lose everything that was once yours. And so I wanted this to be mine. It's all mine. Nobody knows. It's my little secret. And I really like it that way.
Right, Jessie?
Yeah, I mean, everyone and their granny knows what I'm doing. I'm not secretive about it. I mean, I think probably I'm similar to Deena. I don't care that much. Like, I'm not ashamed of it. I don't. The thing I think I've probably experienced more than anything else, is like actually the people that I have been like closest to in my life and like my really close friends, like they don't really get it, and they're not unsupportive, but they're very judgmental about it because they don't understand it, because it's not something that they're into, and like I've had everything thrown at me from like I'm in a sex cult, I'm making pornography, like they think I'm on like Pornhub, and like it's just, and weirdly, and I don't know what this says about people my age in my area, but the people who've been the most excited and the most supportive of it have been like my older family members. So like my mum is like fully supportive. She sends me, she saw a thing on like morning TV of some woman who was like selling toenails, and she was like, why don't you do that and just like give one away with every audio? And I'm like, that's not really how that works, but thanks for the advice. So she doesn't really get it, but she's trying. And like my auntie doesn't really understand, but she thinks I'm narrating romance books. So I'm like, cool, we'll just let you believe that. But yeah, people that I think maybe it's this thing of like my group of friends. I'm the only like unmarried, motherless person in my friend group, right? So I think being like the single woman when you're like 37, there's already kind of a stigma attached to you anyway, because people either think that you're like some kind of like loose moraled like woman who's sleeping around everywhere, or that there's something specifically wrong with you that men don't want to come near you. And especially if you've actively said, I don't want kids, I think there's already that kind of judgment there anyway. And then when you say, oh, I'm making smut for fun, and like I go into a little box in my garage and moan into a microphone and then let people on the internet listen to it. There's like, it's just like another thing of like, of something wrong with you because you are a woman who is in some way claiming some kind of power over her own bodily autonomy and sexuality, and people are uncomfortable with that because it's not a narrative that is necessarily popular among people in general in in the population. As much as we kind of think that we live in this kind of liberated and forward thinking society, we actually still live under really oppressive, like cis, hetero, binary, patriarchal norms that decide what is and isn't okay for people to experience. And I'm saying this as like a straight white woman, right? Like the issues that are faced by queer, trans, non-binary people in not just in this space, but in general. And like black women and women of the global majority, like those kind of stigmas just pile on top of each other, you know? And I think if I'm having that experience as me, I can only imagine what experiences other creators or other people who are in this space will be having if they were to be public creators. And I know a lot of them aren't, you know, for that very reason, like it's not safe, you know? So I'm very fortunate in that I can be open about it and I can talk about it, and like the worst I'm gonna get is like someone's husband giving me like a weird look, you know, like I can deal with that. I don't really care. But yeah, I'm just shouting it around. I don't really mind.
It is wild to me, like as you spoke, as you pointed out, like all the reasons that like people were questioning you about it, I guess, like there is no, like, how is it 2025 and someone in 1309 would say exactly the same thing about you that you just said people were saying about, like, what the fuck is this?
Exactly. Yep.
And you can't win, can you? So you Jessie, you're saying that, you know, people would be negative because what's wrong with you? You know, you're a 37-year-old, you know, woman and no kids, no marriage, no, you know, etc. And you're doing this. I mean, what's wrong with you? And then in the same respect, you know, Kay, you know, married with kids, they'll be saying exactly the same thing. What's wrong with you? Aren't you just satisfied with being a married woman with children? Aren't you satisfied with everything that your lot in life? So can we
certainly
win?
as a wife and mother, I mean, you can't possibly write about smut. I mean, that's just,
Oh my goodness,
who do you
clutching
think
my
you
pearls.
are? You know? Yeah.
No, it really is a double standard. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show, doesn't it, that you can't win. You literally can't win. Like
No.
it doesn't matter what you do, it's going to be the wrong thing. You know, you're either too you wear too much makeup, or you're not wearing enough makeup, or you're dressed too fancily, or you're dressed too sloppily, or you're too loud, or you're too quiet. Like you can't win. You can't win. So I think you just have to get to a point where you're just like, I'm just gonna fucking do what I want, and instead, like, I'm just gonna get on with it, and you guys can be bitter in the corner. It's fine.
I mean, any strength that any woman exudes is gonna, you know, disrupt the apple cart. It's, you know, the patriarchy's not gonna like it.
Yep.
So if you're confident in being a mom and a smut writer, if you're confident in not wanting kids or getting married, everything's going to be labeled as wrong because we can't possibly have empowered, strong, confident women. What the hell would happen? Right? We might actually fucking rule the place and make the world so much better. So can't have that happen. Yeah.
So much more smuttier, you know.
Jesus.
Right.
What's the sort of do we know? Are there any stats on the percentage of female erotica script writers or book writers? Are we sort of, is there more female than male? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know any stats, but like my overwhelming view from what I've seen is that we're just writing the men that we wish we have had or that we needed at certain points in our lives. And it's
Are we
more,
manifesting them through words?
yeah,
Right.
that's what's happening, man, because sweet Jesus, like we're not, it's not looking great out there in general.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. So, like,
Jesus,
so yeah,
throw my
if
phone in
men
the
could-
sea.
Yeah. If men could start picking that up. Like I have male friends who come to me and are like, look, I'm dating and I want to be this kind of man. Like, am I doing this right? And then I'm like, I don't know when I became your fucking agony aunt, but okay, let's delve in.
Could you please train one and send it my way? That'd be great. Thanks.
I have, but we are writing what we need, and I don't think that need is being met. What with the backlash that's happening out in the world right now. So I think we're just going to keep writing, and I think more and more women are going to come on board and going to enjoy that, and that's going to boom.
I mean, they basically have, with every script that's written and performed, it adds to the instruction manual. They have a fucking study guide.
It's
They
there.
can just listen
Right
to it
there.
and know exactly what's wanted out there. It's not fucking rocket science. It's like,
Right.
we're telling you.
Kay's there saying, I wrote a script for my husband.
Yeah.
I had my husband the other day say to me, he goes, should I be speaking to you in a breathy British accent, Jules? Is that
Yes,
going to help?
please.
And I'm like, well, there you go. You read what I want. So great job there. Good job,
Go
Matt.
for it.
Do it. And we've talked about it a little bit, but is there anything specific within your actual job that people just get completely wrong or think certain ways about what you do?
I think the thing that people I think maybe think that I do that I don't do is that when I'm recording, I'm like doing things in the booth. And like I don't want to ruin the illusion, but you try getting something like that to make a noise in a microphone that's near your mouth. Let me just put it that way, okay? Like I am not a man. It's not outside. I can't put anything near it, so that's not feasible. Okay. I think probably the thing that people don't realize is how long editing takes. That's the biggest part of the job for sure. Like I can be in the booth for an hour, but I can be edited for 5, just depends.
What about you, Deena? Anything specific with your work that's misunderstood?
Possibly a slight misunderstanding of exactly how much has to go into writing to build a script and to build that world and to build that storyline.
Because there seem to be, every day there's more and more script writers and voice actors coming on the scene, and I wonder how many kind of fall away because they think it's easier than it is.
I've watched them do it. I've watched some of them do it.
Can I just say, Jessie, I reached out to Jessie and said, well, I've started to write a bit, and a couple of people, one person had said about writing a script for them, and I was like, never tried it before, don't know. So I thought, who do I go and approach? Jessie. So we went up one afternoon, we were on like a Zoom training call and she taught me through it for a couple of hours, and I got off it and I went, no, I'm not doing it. Just not doing it.
Really?
What the fuck? No,
I'm just a really bad
genuinely,
teacher.
absolutely no. No, you weren't.
You're not.
You weren't at all.
You're
But
not.
what you did was you told me the truth of how it works and how what it takes to go into it and etc. And I genuinely held my hands up and say I had the wrong impression, exactly what you just said, Deena, that it was easier than what it was, and it's not. And I knew at that particular moment I would never write a script.
Specifically, what was like the biggest like nuanced thing that you were just like, oh fuck no?
Writing as a first person, fuck that shit. No, fuck off. No, don't want to do it. Genuinely don't want to do it. It doesn't, my brain doesn't function with it. My brain doesn't work doing it that way. I like to be very descriptive in my writing, very sort of,
Yeah.
and
okay.
and it's too robotic. It's too that, well, this person says this, and then you have to do that, and then you have to remember that they need to whisper that, and then you need to do this, and it's too much the travel. Yeah, it's the explaining to the person that's going to be reading it out how you want it to be read out, and no, I mean, hats off to you.
Yeah, that's definitely the hardest part for me, is to convey what I'm hearing and seeing in my mind out into the script so everybody else can see it and hear it exactly as I intended. And after I've listened, as I listen to my scripts more and more, I am realizing that I have my couple travel around the room a lot. Like I have a lot of different, like, oh, we'll start on the couch, we'll go to the table, let's go to the desk, I'm going to flip you over. And as I'm listening to these audios by these amazing voice actors, I'm going, just let them stay in one position for more than 2 seconds. Like, why are you making them move all around the room? And I think I do that because I want the listener to see where they are.
So hard.
Yeah.
So as in my day job, I have to control a lot of things at once, and you have to be like thorough and granular with everything. And I do exactly that. I realize that, oh no, I'm over explaining like every single little thing, but there's no reason that I have to take 5 steps to the left, do the hokey cokey, and then like put their butt out. Like there's actually no need.
Like, well, there is, because I want to listen to that audio.
Smuts that will not exist. But, like,
I'll do it.
Change your mind quick.
I totally get you. I don't know why I put so much effort into making them move all the fucking time, because there's no need.
No.
And I think I'm just trying to control things.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want the listener to get bored. Like
Okay,
I want them to stay
You're not
engaged.
gonna be bored.
I know. And that's something I'm still working on. I'm still very much working on that.
Yeah, I mean, what's the most frustrating part then? I mean, we've just talked about that. What is the most frustrating part for you, Kay, if it's not that?
As a writer?
Yeah, as a writer.
I love the story buildup. I love building the characters. I like setting the scene. I like getting that visual in your mind that when comes time for the sex, it's like, okay, here I go again. Like there's only so many ways, at least in my mind, that you can describe things. I know Deena's shaking her head. There's only so many ways that you can say cock. There's only so many ways, that you can get into position. And I'm starting to feel like I'm starting to repeat a little bit, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to have all of my scenes, no matter what kind of script it is, to have the same kind of rhythm to it. And so when I get to that sex part, I'm like, okay, let's figure something else out here, because they've done it this way the past 2 scripts, and I can't bear to write this good girl scene anymore. And it's coming up to keep it fresh. It's hard.
Okay.
The sex scenes are the hardest part for me.
What about you, Jessie?
I mean, I'm lazy. I don't know. But if I'm writing for somebody else, I generally will get to whatever the sex scene is. And I'll give them like specific lines that I want them to say, or like specific like if I think that they need to do a specific thing so they can get to a specific place, I'll put those in, and then I just put ad lib as required. Because that way I feel like the VA can then just put their own spin on it, because then it's a little bit more collaborative then, because then the VA can go, all right, well, if I was in this situation, this is what I would say, or this is how I would act, or this is what I would do, or how I would sound, or whatever it might be. So it kind of takes the pressure off a little bit for the writer to actually make it unique, because it will be unique because it's being voiced by that particular person. And if you gave that script to a different person with that same direction, they would ad lib completely differently. So I think it gives you a little bit more freedom, certainly as a and like if I get a script from somebody and I get to a sex scene and it's a very like do this, then do this, then do this, it feels a little bit unnatural to me. Because I'm reading something, I'm like, well, I wouldn't actually say that in that moment, but like this character would, so okay, I'll say it, but it might kind of pull me out a little bit. Whereas if I had a script that was like ad lib this, or like, or I will get one that says, like, I had one the other day that just said moan as required around lines. I was like, okay. I will. Thank you so much.
Great.
But that if I'm writing for other people, I tend to put that in as well, just because it's like a way that I like to work.
Oh God, I now no longer know if it's a good idea to say this out loud, but I have never once done that. Every single word they say during that is mine. I've never let them ad lib, but I've also never had an open script. It's always been placed first, so I'm writing for them and for their specific voice, and I write for that.
Okay.
But now I'm like, oh, have I actually fucked
Life
it
hack. It's going to be different for every VA. Like some VAs probably do like that, and like they'll be very much like, no, tell me exactly what to do, and that's cool. I'm just not that sort of person. So if I'm writing, I don't do it either. And I always, if I ever send a script to anybody, or if I ever write anything and give it to someone else, I always put in there like, I've been vague about this particular thing because I think you should put your own spin on it. However, if you would like more direction, please let me know and I can actually write the scene out for you. No one's ever come back to me and asked me to write it out. So
fucking hell.
I'm just gonna keep doing that.
You just saved Deena so much work.
I do that too, Jessie. I write like up to where, somebody is going to orgasm, and then I always do like ad lib orgasm or do whatever you want. And
sorry.
And then I don't write in like moans or whimpers or growls. Like if there's a certain line I definitely want them to do something at, and I will note it. But then I do at the beginning of the sex scene just say VA can improv any sort of sound effects they want to. Here's my lines. Please sprinkle them in accordingly. And I like it. I like to write at least something because I would feel bad. And this is no shade to you, Jessie. I would feel bad if I wrote and sent a script off and was paid for something, and a big majority of it, and I'm not saying this is what you do, a big majority of it is just like ad lib,
That's exactly what I do. I'm really lazy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll write that script then. Here's my script.
Give me money.
Fucking on the beach with the seagulls. All ad lib.
I should probably specify that like I do actually write lines. I don't not write any. I just give them the like freedom to do whatever they want between those lines. So it's a little bit more like they can tailor it a little bit more to what they're comfortable with. And like I'll do that. Like if I want a growl specifically, I will put growl and like underline it. Like you will do this actually. This is non-negotiable.
I can't believe how different we are. I am spelling out by the second the sound effects and every tone and every word, and they do it.
It's because they're all subs.
How many?
Who are you writing for?
How many words are your scripts, Deena? Just like on average?
I have no idea. I write them as screenplays with writer duet, so I don't know about words, but they at least 17 pages.
How many?
17.
Okay. Yeah, use your words. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'm now horrified by how fucking type A I can pretend to be as a writer. Maybe I should fucking stop.
I love it.
Like I said, there's no rule, there's no guidebook to this. We're all just all just winging it.
And you're all having success with it, so whatever you're each individually doing is working.
I guess so.
It's just if you want to lighten your load, Deena, now you know you can just leave out a bunch of shit and just say ad lib. So Deena, I understand you have your first novel coming out.
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, please.
I do have my first novel coming out, and it is a dark rock star romance. It is called Euclid.
Ooh.
Essentially, it is a dark rock star romance. It's about a Londoner called Ivy Knight, who is going through something terrible, real nightmare. She's been dragged through a horrible court case at the behest of her boyfriend, who's also her former boss, and her best friend Katie offers her the chance to go on tour as a social media assistant for a world renowned metal band called Sin, and that is where she meets the frontman Ren Sada, who she obviously has to stay all the way away from because he's a bit of a dick. He's a foreboding, enigmatic nightmare, and as it happens, he's sitting on a secret that could destroy everything that they've ever worked for And as the 3-month tour rolls on, things become very strained, not least the sexual tension between them. And you'll have to pick it up and read it and see if they get it together, see if he's a nightmare, see if she solves her ongoing issues.
Oh, cool. Congratulations on the first book. It's
Oh,
a
thank
big
you.
undertaking.
Poor Kay is one of my beaters.
Oh yeah.
I'm loving it.
I'm very proud of it. It's getting good feedback.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
It's exciting.
Fabulous.
Well, congratulations. Massive
Congrats.
undertaking. So
Yeah.
well done.
Oh, thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Right.
This is just like, I love just hearing you all talk so passionately about this. And you can just tell how passionate you three are about this space. And it's just making me very happy, ladies. I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
Good.
Well, and Jessie, if your next script isn't called like ad labia or something having to do with ad libbing,
Come on.
swear to God.
Oh, man,
That
stolen.
sounds
Stolen.
horrific.
That's
Right?
So Jules is proud of you. Jules is very proud of you, but you must be proud of yourselves. So, what are you most proud of, each of you? Jessie first.
Oh God! Don't make me do this. Could
Come
you
on.
just watch
asking
me
a Brit
like
to celebrate themselves. What are you thinking?
shrink inside myself? Ugh. What am I most proud of? I think probably for me, like the thing that I'm doing it more now, I think, than when I first started, is actually kind of like I touched on before, exploring outside of my own experience when it comes to creating audio. So I'm trying to be consciously choosing scripts and going out there and finding writers that aren't necessarily kind of quote unquote mainstream, or like writing things that would ordinarily be promoted, I suppose, in audio erotica spaces. I've actually got a script coming out tomorrow that was written by a trans woman that's specifically for trans women. I've done audios for trans men. I've done audios that are like body appreciation and curve appreciation and like all of that kind of stuff.
That's interesting that you bring that up, Jessie, because I wonder, like, how do you reconcile, like, wanting a script or a performance to be like super popular and get lots of listens and whatnot versus a script that has like impact. Like, I think about, we've gotten emails from some listeners who say that, they wish that there were scripts out there for people who struggle with like severe chronic illness. People don't think of them as being sexual beings, but they are. Or older women who think that they're just kind of put out to pasture when in fact they're finding their groove, but they're not written about a lot. So it's like the audience may not be wide and broad for, say, a chronic illness type script, if you will, but like, how do you cater to the different audiences while also pleasing the masses?
I mean, I could give a fuck about numbers, really. Like,
Okay.
I really don't care.
Yeah.
I would rather make something that 10 people connect with than make something that 100 other people have already made that gets
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of views. And like, I've had both of those experiences. Like, I did a collab audio about a month ago that did so well. It got 20,000 views in less than a week. Which is
Oh my
Whoa.
God.
crazy numbers, right? And it was me, Jolene and Maeve, who are incredible VAs. And it was this script offer that I'd found on Reddit that was about like a girl pop group who have a like meet and greet, and they meet a groupie backstage and they all fuck him at the same time. Like, tropey as you
Nice.
like, right? And it went off. Like, it went off.
Wow.
Crazy. And then I've done other audios that have been for specific communities. Like I said, I've done scripts for trans men, scripts for trans women, and they get significantly less views. But the feedback that I get from those scripts from people in those communities mean more to me than 20,000 plays on Soundgasm. I feel like we talk a lot about women and women having these kind of revelationary experiences with audio erotica and finding, ways to express themselves sexually and finding more comfort in their sexuality and being able to, be who they are and feel sexy. And the thing to me is that I want that experience to be available for everybody. Like, everybody who does not fit into that standard, like, straight white lady box that I think a lot of audio erotica is by default kind of aimed towards. I would rather make something that connects with someone who doesn't necessarily see themselves represented a lot of the time. Because to me, I've had an experience with audio erotica that has given me a positive kind of way of looking at myself. And I feel like the bare minimum for me to do is to pay that forward to somebody else, And I think there's so many people, and it's not, I'm not throwing any shade at anybody who's creating content that is for the masses at all. I think it's like widely needed, and I wish there were more people who would actually come and consume the content in general, but I think there are so many incredible writers, and there are so many people in the space, not just listeners but creators as well, that don't get their stories told and don't get their voices heard because they don't fit into this idealized kind of idea of what a woman is.
And I guess it is, like, to your point, it's like, where do your interests lie? Where do your goals and vision line up? Your values, whatever it may be. I'm sure there's a million things that go into choosing what scripts to write. So I'd be curious for you, Deena and kaychase, what do you think about before you choose a plot, a trope, a kink, or a script before you start writing?
I just want to make sure that what I'm delivering is the very best that it can be for whoever's listening, and that includes being being as inclusive as possible. But it also, to a point, you can also only talk from your own experience, and and mine has largely been just to find confidence in myself from somewhere, and to be able to reach someone that on that day needs something. And that's the kind of the kernel of the idea that I go with, and then I write around that, and then I make sure that is as applicable to as many people as possible. But ultimately, at the end of it, I just want to deliver something that makes somebody feel good and make sure that isn't excluding anybody, for sure.
Yeah. So that's your kind of main line, is like, you have an experience you want to deliver.
Yeah.
And you deliver it in a certain way. So that's kind of, and so there's no right or wrong answer, right? It's like whatever you feel you want the end user to experience is how you write your script.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's coming from my past experiences, but incorporating the feedback that I get from existing scripts, from the wider community, from other people. And that is one thing that's really great about this community, actually. The potential to learn what people are needing and what people want to see and what's lacking as well is absolutely incredible here. Yeah, I'm on my own journey too. The community is taking me on that journey, and I hope that more and more that comes through.
What about you, Kay?
Where do you derive your scripts from? Like, from personal experience, from wanting other people to have experiences that they may not otherwise have? Just what's the motivation behind the scripts and the plots that you choose, the tropes, the kinks?
Well, use your words was definitely something that came from within me, and I think we all put a little bit of ourselves in our scripts, whether we do it consciously or subconsciously. And when it comes to what I write and why I write it, for me, it's kind of starts with, I'll think of a scene or an environment, and then I will put myself and an imaginary person in it and be like, okay, if we were here, this might happen, and then this might happen. And so I really go into it, and even with my writing, I write top to bottom. I don't go and write a line that I want to use in the aftercare and then jump back to the beginning. I'm very much structured. And so I just start, and I find my way along the way, and my end goal is to just give a woman, a man, 15 minutes of quiet, of pleasure, and just something for themselves. That's really my only goal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Every time one of these two opens their mouth, I'm like, oh, I've done right and wrong, because I start in the middle.
I love how
for everybody. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, I love how different it is for you three.
No right or wrong.
Is there any advice then that you would give to people who are thinking of stepping up into this field, whether it be script writing, voice acting, or something else just in the world of audio erotica? What piece of advice would you give to them?
Well, when I started, I sold my script to AJ, and since Jessie was helping me, I asked if I could write a script for her, which I did. Unexpected Reunion, which she performed on Undercover Audios. And after that, I reached out to, I just reached out to other writers that I was following on Instagram. I would look at the audios that I really liked, and if they were written by somebody that I could find on Instagram, I would message them. Somebody who has helped me greatly along the way is Miss Miranda Parker. She's a wonderful script writer. I messaged her out of the blue, I think in February, and was just like, I'm new. Do you mind if I send you questions every now and then and just pick your brain? And she's been the biggest blessing to me ever. She has helped me with the most minuscule questions up to, how much I should charge for a script, or if I am writing a script and there's a sentence that's so clunky and I can't stare at it a moment longer, I will send it to her and be like, can you please help me reword this so it sounds good? And she's just amazing. And one of her pieces of advice for me was to just shoot your shot. Just have a script, reach out to a VA, and I have, and it's worked with some. I haven't heard back from others, which, is fine. But your skin gets a little bit thick doing this just in the short amount of time that I have done it. And you just got to keep going. If somebody says no, it doesn't mean it's the end. I can say that now, but if I had never heard back from AJ, I don't know if I would have kept going. So I don't know if I would have taken my own advice.
Yeah, well, it's got to be difficult, hasn't it? I mean, you're just pouring some of your heart and soul into these things. So, exactly. and to get silence back must be bad. To get a no must be, because if you get silence back, you can go, oh, it was probably got swamped in their inbox. You can make up a story. You didn't even see it. Right. I mean, come on. Right. But if you get a direct no, I mean, it's like anything. It must knock you.
Yeah, and it just wasn't the right VA for the story. And then you just keep going, and eventually you will find the right VA for your story.
It is incredibly brave to put any kind of art out into the world, like in whatever form. It's one of the most courageous acts, because it's like you are just opening yourself up for comments and criticism and feedback that you may not have asked for, but it's almost always worth it in the end, I think.
Kay, I was wondering, did you get a little bit nervous reaching out to Miranda about your script? I do hear that sometimes people are nervous the first time to ask for help.
I wasn't nervous. I had followed her for a while, and she's a very open and happy, and I mean, everything that she does, she seems just like the most positive person. And so I wasn't nervous at all. And then I asked her, before I unloaded on her, I said, is this something that you could help me with? Do you mind answering these questions? I didn't, go up to her and be like, hey, here's a script. Can you read it? Tell me what you think. And do you have any VAs in mind that might be good for it? I eased my way in.
What do you all see for the kind of future of audio erotica?
I think it's got this great potential for actually helping people reframe desire. It gives people the ability to explore kinks that in a safe way, that they don't have to actually put themselves in a position where they have to do this thing. And I think it's got such potential to be the kind of quote unquote industry that helps actually reframe how society thinks about sexuality and gender and erotica and expression and bodily autonomy and all of these things that are massive issues societally, and are so ingrained in society as being taboo or negative or very male gaze if you're looking at, traditional pornography. So I would hope, my hope for the space is that it would be a space where everybody can come and actually experience that kind of freedom and liberation and find parts of themselves that they maybe didn't know existed, so people can then go out into the world as more kind of complete whole human beings.
What it always comes back down to for me is the community that's happening around this. And business is business, and it can't exist without leaning on the things that make them money, right? Like, I'm a businesswoman and I know that fully, but that's not good enough. And we're existing in a world that is making that increasingly fucking difficult to break through. But it's down to the power of this community to keep shouting about it and to keep amplifying like where that audio is living for the people that need them, and for people who are going to learn more about their peers and to learn more about the wider world as well. Because like, to go back to the original question as well, and to incorporate this, like in the last few years, we this is gonna get existential, strap in, but like in the
strap on,
like in the last few years, we went from a world where, I mean, it was so fucking diabolical, but like there were platforms for like female identifying people's like modern day rights and voices, and just everything we kind of had highlighted that we needed, that was starting to feel like around 2020, just before, that it was starting to come through. Like finally, like the power was back in people's hands a little bit, and it was like, oh, okay, you're gonna fucking listen to us for a bit, like this is what we need. And it started to come through, and then there was the backlash, and now we have a rebellion on our hands across the world, and it infuriates me like to watch it happen. But ultimately it's resulted in a reversal of the loss of rights and respect and autonomy and safety for loads of communities. But like the biggest one obviously is female identifying people, because that's generally half of people at least. But this is where audio erotica and the platforms that host it like play a distinct and important role. And it's why the decisions that those platforms make, and we as writers and the voice actors that are making this content and the wider community, really matter. Because in this context and what we're dealing with now, audio erotica becomes something that's so much more than like entertainment and wanking. Like it becomes about resistance, and the direction that I really hope that we're heading in. And I do think that this is temporary. I don't actually think this is the bigger picture. I think this is like the short to medium term picture while the world burns itself down. But like, I hope that as a community we're headed somewhere for now, that like whatever is going on out there, we're given the space to love ourselves and to love other people, whatever form they take, and like heal ourselves and feel pleasure safely, and like indulge in escapist stories or situations that constantly remind us of like our self-worth, and give us room to emote and like the grace to work through our past or our present, and our joys and our traumas, and like really empower ourselves. Because less and less people in the real world are letting us do that, and you can see it every single day, amplified across social media and the news and wherever else you're looking.
Very true. Yeah.
So Kay, what do you think what do you see for the future of audio erotica, or what do you hope to see?
I think it'll become more mainstream. I absolutely do. And I'm just happy to be here. And I still struggle with calling myself a writer. Just because I have no training. I don't know. I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm so happy to be here. And this community is one of the most welcoming communities I've ever seen. I've been in some mom support groups that are more toxic than the smut community that I am now a part of. And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm honored that I write scripts that people can use to escape from whatever they need to escape from for a few minutes. You know, for me, that's shutting myself in a bedroom and listening to Cavern for 15 minutes while my kids, scream at each other. It's all about balance. So
a wank's a wank.
Yeah, I mean, I get it when I can get it. So
yeah, I mean, there's some really important conversations, and they're important conversations. They're conversations that need to continue to happen on a regular basis, and we're just happy that there are people out there like us who want to make those voices heard and the audio's listened. But if we move away from the deeper stuff and maybe try a little quickie confessions rapid fire round, how's everybody feel about that?
God.
You see all of them like, oh,
I'm ready.
This is where my ADHD does not help me. Just blurt out whatever's in my head.
Our 3 guests have left the building. Okay, right. So, what's your go-to listen? Sweet, spicy, or downright filthy?
Downright filthy.
Filthy.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. Well, like my default, my brain was like filthy, but then I was like, my top things on my like Quinn Rap Lash, it was sleep aids. So like, who am I?
Sweet.
But
Okay.
like maybe both, a little of both. I want everything. I'm greedy.
All right. If you could describe in one word how audio erotica makes you feel, what would that one word be?
Right. I'll say empowered because whatever is in Jessie's head is hilarious, clearly.
I went with confident. That's what came up for me first.
Empowered and confident.
Yeah.
Really good words. Jessie, now bring the fucking meta down.
Wet.
There you go. There she did it. Yeah, there she went.
There
She went
we go.
Fair dues. That's champion ladder.
Kind of proud.
The smudge of the group.
Yeah, absolutely. We know what. Each one of us is represented by somebody else.
Right. Jesse is smudge and smudge is Jesse. Okay. What is sexier, confidence or vulnerability?
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Yeah.
Vulnerability.
Same.
That's why everyone loves a ramble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
Biggest turn on in a voice. Biggest turn on in a voice.
Vocal fry.
Vocal fry. Yeah.
What's a vocal fry?
Oh, that and baby.
Oh,
Call me baby. and
Oh,
I am
sweet
all.
girl.
I'm with you with
Sweet
that,
girl
yes.
is mine.
oh, babies.
Yeah.
I can't do good girl. Good girl gives me the ick.
Oh, I love good
Oh.
girl.
I hate it with a passion.
Mm.
Slut is mine. Oh, yes.
It's a good one too.
Oh, that is great.
Right in this one.
Darling, mine,
as it
big
were.
surprise.
Did we get an answer from Kay?
I don't think so.
I like an accent.
Which
You're welcome.
Which
certain
one?
kind?
Smudgy's accent. I like that kind of accent.
Oh, what posh British?
I was
Yeah.
going to say, like,
bless
is
you.
this down as posh? Because I am Cockney. And that is not the same.
Yeah, that's
No.
not posh, is it, love?
I'm
No,
fucked.
in a
Got
million
apples
years
and
could I be-
pears, mate. Got a pain, did you?
So Smudge describes it as posh, yet we have several
Thank you.
guests on who couldn't understand a fucking word she was saying. Even
One
British
guest.
ones.
One guest couldn't understand when I said drop the ball. No, what was it I said?
You said
Curveball.
curveball.
Curveball. Yeah.
And
curveball.
then Peaches, who is British, couldn't
Yeah.
understand when you said drool. You'll hear that. So don't say.
How did you manage
He
that?
thought she said
know.
drawl.
He thought you said
Thought you
drawl,
said
like a southern
Southern
drawl.
drawl.
Drool. Drool.
This is how she says
okay.
drool. It's fucked up.
Drool.
Buckingham Palace with you,
Yeah,
babe.
exactly. Now I'm getting pain in my fucking Gregory neck, you are.
Right, look, that sounds like my nan. So
Jesus Christ. That's sexy, isn't it? That took a turn.
She spoke an actual rhyming
There you
slang.
go.
It was
Granny
fucking
King
wild.
unlocked.
Well, the age is probably in the right ballpark, so.
I'm going to be
You
waiting for
fucking-
this Cockney
Yeah.
script now, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything in rhyming slang.
Next one. Morning glory or midnight mischief?
Midnight.
Midnight.
Morning.
Do not come near me in the fucking morning,
Oh,
man.
really?
Oh, Jessie,
I'm
what?
not-
Jessie's morning.
I'm up and ready to go at 5 a.m. I'm a morning person.
Oh,
Same.
Lord.
Dragon breath in the morning. Okay, don't come near me. Okay, because you need to brush your teeth first. These movies that show these, blokes kissing the women in the morning and they're all like over each other. And I'm like, huh? No. Mouthwash, dental floss, and Colgate. All right, 3 things
What does
you
that
need
say
to.
about me?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never woken up with you, Jess, but we'll
I like
give it a
them
go.
grubby.
Oh, I want them bleached down. Do not,
Bleached.
not start me.
Not necessarily bleached, but teeth need to be clean. Well, like, if they're coming up, if they're up here, if they're down there, it doesn't need to be fresh. It's fine.
Okay. What is your guilty pleasure listen that you don't want to feel guilty about?
I didn't feel guilty about anything ever.
Yep.
Maybe my sleep aids.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't think, unless I'm barefaced lying to you, I don't think I have a guilty pleasure listen, but an absolutely unhinged amount of Australian accent
Oh,
That's your go-to.
in my frequent listens.
Bit of
bit of
Yeah.
Crocodile
I don't know
Dundee.
why. Yeah, strange amount of Australian. Didn't see that for myself before I discovered Quinn.
Ah, that.
Nice.
That was very new to me.
Jules, did you want to demonstrate how I taught you to teach how to speak Australian?
Wait. No, razor blades. Did I do it?
Oh,
You know what? I think my preference has changed.
Yes.
oh my God,
King
Jules, you
locked
were
away.
close, honey. You were close. say rise up lights, but quickly.
Damn it. Rise up lights. Rise up
Wait,
lights.
that's Australian razor blades. Rise up lights.
Rise
Deena.
up lights.
Deena. Rise up blades.
You just said razor blades, you fuck.
She literally just said right.
She literally just went razor blades.
I know.
And apparently it worked.
Think about how many takes I would have to do to try to do voice acting. I can't even do one sentence in Australian, guys.
In Australian.
Jules,
Uh,
do not listen to them. I'm so proud.
Yes,
of
we
you.
are.
Don't worry.
Yes.
Did very
You
well.
do a Newcastle accent by going poopa scooper,
Scoopa.
Roller coaster.
roller coaster, poopa scooper,
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki. Oh, Jimmy Carr, love you. Come on the show, love you. Kay, what about you?
Oh God. I don't think I have anything that is a guilty pleasure. One thing that I did not realize about myself is I definitely have a breeding kink. And after
Ooh.
having 2 kids and not wanting any more kids, that very much surprised me. But when Rum tells me he wants to breed me, I'm like, okay,
Okay.
okay, we'll do it. It's fine.
Yes.
That's like me with pegging.
What the door? Peg. Yeah.
I love pegging.
Yeah.
If you had to choose between M Dom and M Sub, which would you listen to?
M sub.
I'm dumb.
Do as you're told.
Well done,
Nina?
Kay. That is the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm straight down the middle with this one,
Oh.
as it
Well,
were.
switchy. Okay.
Bitchy.
What?
Yeah.
A threesome with a sub and a dom.
Yes, please.
I would take that also. Uh-huh.
There
Yeah,
you go.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a script idea for you. All right.
I just want boyfriends who are boyfriends. I don't think that's too much to ask, really, is it?
Right?
Not
Oh,
too
that's
much. It's the
amazing.
bare minimum.
Kay, audio erotica made me realise I am.
God. A more sexual person than I thought I was.
Nice.
Well said.
Deena.
Deena, audio erotica made me realise I am.
Able to ask for exactly what I want.
Fucking right.
Fuck
Get
yeah.
in.
Get in.
Fucking all 5 fingers. Come on.
Yes.
Jessie, I want to hear what you said. Audio erotica made me realise I am.
Really into pegging.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's been an absolute pleasure,
It's
ladies.
been a pleasure, ladies. A pleasure.
Yes.
Oh,
pleasure.
my God.
Thank you
been
for
so
having.
fun.
Thank you for having us on here. It's nice to have our voices heard sometimes.
Yeah, we know we took a large chunk of your day, so we appreciate you spending this time with us. And
No, it's an absolute honour. And
Thanks
honour.
for
Thanks.
Having us,
we
pals.
hope you had a good time.
Okay.
And we wish you all the very best with all of your endeavours, creative, your life, whatever, your sex lives, whatever you're doing, do it well. All right?
AIDS.
Do my best.
Love it.
Yay.
Ladies.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you later. Bye.
All right, ladies. So there was our chat with those other 3 fabulous ladies.
I know. How can you get 6 fabulous ladies in the room in one time? I don't know. Come on, QuinnCast.
Come on, QuinnCast.
Yeah.
Racist.
I know. It was fun though to talk to like other women who, discovered audio erotica and it made such an impact on their lives that they were like, I want to do something in this space. And so now it's like script writing, voice acting, writing a book. It's crazy.
I know.
Unbelievable. It becomes a part of their daily lives. And I bet they never, ever thought when they joined this space in whatever capacity that this would be what happened for them.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It is.
Sometimes you think so instantly, don't you? You look at yourselves and go, how our lives have changed. And then
Yes.
all of a sudden you realise the women around you that were total strangers a year ago to now. And it's like, oh my God, so many people's lives have changed for the better.
Yes.
Yeah,
know?
in huge ways. So
Unbelievable.
it was so
ways.
cool. Thanks so much for joining us,
Oh,
Kaychase, Jessie,
Yeah,
and
thank
Deena.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Best.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, we appreciate your feedback. If you want to get in touch, you can reach us at QuinnCastPodcast@gmail.com. Find us on socials. Would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening. And rate us, comment us, do all the things. Appreciate you. For now, this has been Kaza. Your voice matters.
This has been Jules. Go put those lips to good use.
And this has been Smudge. Keep wanking.